Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Reading Fanfiction with Peter and Ted, except this time, maybe we have to change the title a little bit because it's not just Peter and Ted, but we also have joining us. Introduce yourself, if you may.
Hi.
Milady.
Hello. It's Abby.
Woo! We got Abby on.
Abby, and she has chosen the fan fiction that we will be reading this week. Thank you, Abby, for bringing this to us. Like usual, I've only read just a few of the first paragraphs, but
Same.
And I haven't read it.
Hasn't seen it. So it is called Little Wolf by all undercase,
Yes.
no spaces, crypticxmetaphor.
Oh
And
man.
here's the description.
Wait, can I quickly? So first, this is a Game of Thrones
Yes.
fanfic.
Yes.
But so we talked last time about how we were both surprised that Pirates of the Caribbean was so high on the. Where's Game of Thrones on the relative size of amount of?
It
fanfics?
is. Oh, it is not. Oh.
Does it not break top 10? I feel like that's surprising.
No.
Really? That's really surprising to me.
It's wow, yeah. It's like it's like maybe in the top 100. It's
wow.
It's lower than
That's
Hannah
so
Montana,
surprising to me.
CSI New York.
I guess that
it's lower than
is
Lost.
that just because is that just because like the fans are on average older, or it's more mainstream, or
I don't know. I think, in my opinion, having read the first 2 books and then stopping.
Oh yeah, because they're books too. I didn't even realize.
Books read like a fan fiction.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe people just read it and they're happy with that. They don't have.
That's a fair point.
But at the same time, I think the proportion, like looking at the list and seeing where it is on the list, I think that gives you a false indicator of how popular it is, just because there are so many and they're not only on fanfiction.net.
Right. That's a good point.
My favorite.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
Game of Thrones fan fictions have been on other sites.
Right. Archive of My Own. Is that? I don't really know other sites very well, but is Archive of My Own a classic, or?
I don't know, because I don't. Sometimes when I search for them, I don't search for them in a site. I search for them in Google.
Oh, just like in Google. Right. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I think fanfiction.net serves a very specific type of fanfiction reader.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't think of that.
It's a great.
I mean, a great archive.
And it makes it really easy to search for everything. So.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, carry on, Ted.
Oh yeah, sorry, Ted.
No, it's okay. This is all relevant. So, as always on fanfiction.net, there's a little description. And it says, "Let's face it, I love the hound." Which is a great start. "I've been toying with this OC for a while," which is a great second sentence.
Yeah.
"I have several strains of basically the same story with different OCs. I think this is the best. Jen, maybe Jon Snow's twin, but she's more like Arya than any of the Stark children.
Wait, hold up, what?
There's already what she wants and goes after it. Sandor/OC. So this is fiction M, romance/family.
Right.
2,200 words, 8 chapters, 13 reviews, 60 faves.
8 chapters. Are we doing the whole thing? 8 chapters?
It was published
a lot of chapters.
January 2017.
I've read the first 100 pages of the first book, and I've seen the first 4 seasons. Doesn't Jon Snow having a twin change everything about the story?
Yeah.
Isn't the whole point is that he's the only bastard of?
This
is their story. This is crypticxmetaphor's story.
Yeah, and a lot of times when people make an OC that's related
Mhm.
to an existing character. I feel like they're really they're using that relationship to indicate not so much they're using that as a way to attach their character to the story
Right.
in a way
It's
that's
just
really
like an
that's already meaningful. They don't have to build up that
Right.
meaning. They don't have to construct that themselves so much as using the structure of already like what's happening with
The
Jon
great
Snow.
thing about fanfiction is that they can always just start in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good point. Okay.
No
As you were.
exposition needed. So, chapter 1. Genevieve noticed him long before she saw the little prince, who was making eyes at her sister. He was impossible to miss, with a helm like a mad dog that obscured his
Whoa.
entire face.
A
Could have
helm?
been hideous for
Oh,
all
like
she
a
knew,
helm.
but she already made up her mind. Him, I want him. John and Theon both snorted where they stood behind the rest of the family. At least you have a type. And what would that be? She asked. Her late husband had been perfectly average
Wait, I feel like so much has already happened.
before he met his untimely end, and she moved back to Winterfell. Brutish, Sansa commented under her breath. Jen shrugged, unable to argue. She was never attracted to her husband anyway, only to men at least twice her size. End of chapter 1. All right. So
Wow. Okay.
So
Cool.
I'm imagining that this Genevieve, who is now just
So which is
referred
the
to as
OC?
Jen.
The
Genevieve.
Jen?
I
Oh,
must
Jen
be-
is Genevieve. Okay. I was imagining like Jen as in like Jennifer.
I'm picturing this happening in the very first episode when that the royal caravan like
Sure.
rolls up
Yeah.
to Winterfell.
Yeah, I know
also
exactly what you're
imagining
talking
that.
about.
And
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
play that song and it's like
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that.
So is Jen spelled with a G?
Yeah, so when it's Jen,
Okay.
it's Jen with a G, which is
Okay.
pretty fun.
I mean, that's like very Game of Thrones, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like that like reminds me of like
My
a lot
name's
of
Jen with a G. It has some rum.
That's Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Outside.
leaking.
I still have the
You still have
Humper
Humple
Stumples.
Stumple on your
Humper
mind.
Stumples stick on my mind. So, chapter 2. Jen exited the hall to the cold outdoors while balancing 3 bowls of stew in one hand with the fourth in her other. Her boot.
Wait,
Why
why?
would
Why
you
didn't
have
she
2
just
and 2?
2 and 2?
Yeah. Her boots crunched on the snow beneath her as she walked to the fire. I bring food for the bastards, she declared, and handed the bowl to her twin brother, John.
So this is like this is before John has left.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah.
So this is like at the very beginning of
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah, this is the first
Okay.
episode.
So that makes a lot of sense. Okay. So like any questions I had are now moot.
Yeah, which is, the author figured out a way to kind of work their way in.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I totally understand.
My lord, she handed the next one to the Lannister dwarf. If I'm a bastard, how can I be a lord? He pointed out, but accepted.
Ah, touche. always the inquisitive mind, that Lannister dwarf.
He's like, if I'm a
Of course Peter Dinklage comes to mind. I mean, like it's hard to not think of him in that role.
Yeah.
If you'd rather I call you Tyrion, I have no qualms about that. Why is he so far from the fire? Jen nodded towards the hound, who sat alone. Yes. Wouldn't you avoid flames if you had been burnt like that? Tyrion posed.
It's funny because like everybody who's reading this like knows who these characters are, and
Yeah.
yet they like still have like introductions as if we have no anyone who's reading this knows that the Lannister dwarf is Tyrion. Like,
but Jen
Well,
doesn't
the thing
know, and
is
then
that
we get to see
Jen
that,
doesn't. Good point. Well said.
and then we get to hear about it again.
Yeah, we get to hear about it.
I was 2 years ago, Jen said. Oh, I was burnt. She doesn't say it,
I
but
was, yeah.
I was bracket burnt 2 years ago, Jen said. It doesn't change the fact that fire keeps us warm. Oh, okay. Tyrion
A
had not
utilitarian.
Yeah.
Tyrion had not been expecting that, but recovered quickly with a new explanation. Then I would
Ah,
presume that because you're an adult, you're able to rationalize that fact. He was a child when he suffered the trauma.
oh man. We're
It's
getting
so
Freudian here. I
these
kind of like it.
Yeah, I'm into it.
these fics where like they have to try to write in like witty. It's I you just see that everyone's just trying their best.
Yeah, no, I understand. I also like where they have an attribute for who's talking. Like it was like Tyrion trying to think of another response and then just the response that he gave as opposed to just saying what he said.
Yeah.
Seems a little repetitive, but whatever. Not my fic, not my choices.
Not your cryptic X metaphor.
Yeah, I'm not crypticxmetaphor. What if I was crypticxmetaphor this whole time?
You're like,
I was praying
sorry.
you guys wouldn't choose one of my fics.
Yeah.
Fuck. No! I knew they were gonna pick this one. Ah, the second Abby said she wanted to join, I knew she was gonna get my one about the hound.
My little wolf.
My little wolf.
The little wolf.
I
That's
love that.
one.
Jen walked over and handed him the food. Have you eaten? No, he grunted, thanks. Jen sat opposite him, saving the last bowl for herself. She began eating, worrying that if she looked at him, he would assume she was staring at his scar. Aren't you cold? He asked. Who's he? Who is she talking
By
about?
the
Jon
way,
Snow or Tyrion?
no, I think he's talking about the hound.
Oh,
Because he has a big scar. But also this I'm like looking at a picture of the hound, right? His scar is
Right
his
here
entire
on my
face.
look
Well,
at
I know,
my
but you can't really see it on like his entire face is his scar.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Also I mean they can't see you can't see this now, but we have like pictures of other things on our Zoom screens.
Yeah.
And Abby has one of the hound, and I'm about to put one of the hound as well. Just to, stay relevant. Anyway, sorry,
that's
Ted.
irrelevant.
Aren't you cold? She asked when she remained near him. That's what the furs are for. Clegane? Clegane?
Yeah, Clegane.
Isn't that his name? Yeah.
Clegane?
That's his last name.
She smirked. He sneered at her. Are all wolves such smart asses? Smart asses.
Using the
I,
word
w-
smart asses.
I wouldn't know, Jen shrugged. I'm a snow. She loved her
Oh,
half siblings, but remained bitter as the least wanted child. Not only was
damn.
she a bastard, she was a woman, and a broken one at
Mm.
that. When they found the direwolf pups, she didn't even get the runt because John had more of a claim than her. I'm just imagining this OC like photoshopped into all these
Yeah,
into all the scenes.
like she's at the end, like, like there, it's all the press pictures, and then like in the background, there's just like a woman. She's just there.
She's like
Like,
just waiting.
hey guys, it's me, Jen, with a
Yeah.
G. It's Jen with a G. It stands for Genevieve.
Just like green screen, there's just a character like nodding around with all the other characters in the
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah, I agree with Tyrion here. I'm Genevieve, by the way. Jen for short,
With
with a
a G.
G. Jen with a G.
Jen with a G.
You're a little wolf, Sandor told her. He found her strange for dressing like a man and carrying a sword, but did nothing to hide her beauty. Nor was she frightened of him. He quickly ended the conversation and dropped his gaze back to the bowl of food as if it were the most interesting thing he had ever seen. End of chapter 2.
Hang on
Does it
one
say
second.
end of chapter
I'm
2?
gonna turn off
No,
my
I say
No,
that
okay,
because
that's
it's
good. Then
funny.
no, it's an important note. Just because the chapters in most fan fictions are pretty arbitrary. That's honestly, yeah, I mean, like, why does there need to be a chapter break there? Like, I mean, not like between 1 and 2. Like, it's not like, well, whatever.
And so we get to chapter 3 now.
hmm
Gulfaxi was the best horse Jen could have asked for, and spent much of her.
Gulfaxi?
It's Gullfaxi.
Go faxy.
Yeah,
Go
I-
faxy yourself.
Gullfaxi yourself.
Go faxy yourself.
Was the best horse Jen could have asked for, and spent much of her time either grooming or riding him. With the king's party visiting, not all the horses could fit into the stable. She noticed one extraordinarily large black horse that
Wait, let
had
me
been
guess
left outside.
whose horse that is. I think it's gonna be the hound's horse. My guess.
You don't have to wait long to answer your question. It was the hound's horse.
Yes! Yes!
Stranger, she believed it was called. When she finished brushing Gulfaxi, she chose to brush out Stranger's mane.
Nice of her.
Nice.
Sandor noticed the little wolf with Stranger and quickly moved to make sure his horse didn't decide to harm her, as she had several stable boys in the past. As he
Oh,
drew
as
near,
she okay. Wait, but isn't Gulfaxi's a boy, Stranger's a girl. Sorry, keep going.
as he
That's
drew near,
great.
he noticed that Stranger obediently allowed Jen to touch him. He placed a
Ooh.
gentle hand on Stranger's muzzle, relieved he wouldn't be blamed for Jen's injury. Wait,
Wait, wasn't Jen okay?
yeah, but
Sorry, I'm eating.
you should be flattered. He doesn't let anyone near him. Really? Jen asked, as although she already believed it. The horse was much like its master. Oh
Hot.
yeah, that's hot.
Yeah, really sexy. That's what
Killed
you
a,
meant.
killed a stable boy or two with his kick. He explained.
Oh my god.
That's so nice.
But I'd be willing to bet he'd let you mount him.
Oh.
Whoa.
That would be a first. Jen,
Woo!
yeah, Jen smiled. She had never heard so many words that didn't sound like grunts come from his mouth. Wow, that's so insulting. Do you think I could? Sandor nodded, enjoying her excitement. Jen
Oh,
put
man.
down the brush and in a practice motion landed herself on the horse's back. It did not balk, but stomped his hooves impatiently.
Oh, that's cute.
Mm.
Mm.
Sandor released his hold on Stranger, and the horse remained well behaved. It
Oh.
seems he has good taste in women, she smiled. Jeez, this horse really is like taking on a lot of symbolic weight.
Yeah.
This poor horse.
The horse is doing a lot for this relationship.
Yeah.
Sandor was unsure of how to respond. He had already taken a few steps to turn when she spoke. You're supposed to agree, she called after him. He does, Sandor
You're not supposed
grunted
to get on
as
my
he
horse,
continued to
so
lead. You're supposed to agree.
is that chapter 3?
Oh, because she's sorry. I'm sorry, everyone, that I'm reading this in such an affectless tone, but sometimes it's just hard for me to tonally read to follow what's whatever.
They're flirting, I think.
Yeah.
They're flirting.
But the hound is like has a social disorder because
Yeah.
he's
She's like, and so
physically
she's like,
deformed.
yeah, because that's fair.
Yeah, it's fair. And she's I guess just a normal gal at Winterfell.
Yeah, and she's just like teasing him. Like she was
Yeah.
like the line. It should have been like, "You're supposed to agree."
You're supposed to
Like
agree.
it's a 2005
Hey,
rom-com.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Ledger, maybe.
Yeah, like Keith Ledger, Jamie Lee Curtis,
Heath Ledger,
a
Abby
horse.
Myers, me,
Abby Myers.
Peter. All right, so we're at chapter 4. Is
Yes.
that a good idea? Sandor asked. So this is again. What? Sorry. Is that a good idea? Sandor asked. It was not his place to keep Genevieve there, but he couldn't imagine Marcella wandering about King's Landing alone. Who is
What?
that?
Who is that?
Going for a walk? I can defend myself, Jed said. Sandor noticed for the first time that
What's going on? Is this like directly after the events of the
I
third
think
chapter, or
yeah, I think this is just like I think
isn't she
yeah.
on the horse?
Yeah, I think she's just on the
She's
horse.
just still on the horse. Who's
Yeah.
Marcella? Okay, I guess we'll just have to figure it out.
Sandor noticed for the first time that on scabbard on her hip was a sword. If you're worried about my safety, you can join me, Jen invited. Okay, nice.
Okay.
I have to stay with the prince. He shook his
What
head.
is this fic rated, by the way?
M. Fiction M.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is the most mature fic we've done to date. Thank
Yeah.
you, Abby.
We've
Yeah,
only
of
been
course.
reading kindergarten fics up to
I
this
know.
point.
Yeah.
But now we're
Now we're
mature.
reading middle school fics.
I have listened to the previous podcast, so I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah, I mean, it had to happen eventually.
It
So
had to, and I'm glad it was with you. Honestly,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have wanted it with anyone
bring the
else.
fiction. Abby Myers M brings the fiction M.
You're just doxing Abby.
Yeah.
Abby Myers.
And I start just like naming her
just
social security
listing her
code.
address. Yeah.
So she invites him. He says, I have to stay with the prince, as he nervously shifted his weight between feet, feeling foolish. He could kill a dozen men on his own, but trying to talk to a girl made him want to bury his head in the snow. Aww. He
This
didn't,
is like a rom-com.
he didn't understand how
That's
she could be
hilarious.
so confident, leaving the castle grounds by herself. The north was strange. Wait, is it so dangerous?
Yeah, didn't they just come from there? Like, didn't they like ride up that way?
You never
No
heard
one?
what
No, okay.
happened to me, did you? Jen asked. At least they stopped whispering about me behind my back. Whisper about what, little wolf? I killed my husband, she said. To say he was cruel would be an understatement. You know your face, neck to hip, all along my right side.
So did I miss something? What?
So he says, whisper about what, little wolf? And then she said,
Oh,
I killed
okay.
my husband.
Oh, right. Okay, that's epic.
To say he was cruel would be an understatement. You know his face? You know, he says, you know your face? Oh my God. Neck to hip, all along my right side.
Wait, I think this is like we're transitioning into the fic. Like
Yeah, we're slowly
that was
like
from the fic. Was that sound?
Sandor clenched his fist. It explained why she wasn't afraid of him, but he couldn't stand the thought of her suffering through that. There was only consolation in the
Through
knowledge
murdering her husband. Yeah,
that
I'm
the
sure
man
she
was
was suffering the
already
most in
dead.
that one.
well no, because she just said that her husband burned her.
Oh, right. Sorry, that's my bad.
I
Thank
hope
you.
his death was slow. Jen shrugged. I stabbed him in the chest over 20 times.
So it wasn't slow.
No.
It's quite
He
fast.
wanted to, well, I don't know. It probably hurt, which is probably
I
the
guess.
intent.
But I mean, by like stab number 5, he's probably already dead, right? I mean,
I have
It
no
depends.
idea. It depends. He
We
wanted
don't
to tell
know.
her that
depends
we
diapers.
just don't know, yeah.
Who's
That if
wearing
he
which
was
one's
her
diaper?
husband, he would never. Oh, he wanted to tell her that if he was her husband, he would never hurt her or let anyone else touch her.
That's
But
cute.
he couldn't find the words. How do you tell that to a woman? So I'm going to go for
I
a
don't know.
walk. She grinned at him, oblivious to his internal struggle. End of chapter 4.
So that's about halfway through. Now that we're halfway, what is any predictions? Yeah, Abby.
This is pretty, having read a fan fiction or two that's like this one. It's progressing pretty predictably.
Yeah.
To offer a little critique, I do think
Go for it.
this OC is kind of, so far, it's kind of a predictable thing. Like I feel like it's very familiar that it's like you have this girl and she's been through some trauma that's made her stronger, and she's not what she seems on the outside. And like, so like the Hound is like,
Right.
oh, I don't expect any of this from a weak woman, and she's
Yeah.
like, yes,
I'm more than just a
you don't
weak
know
woman.
my life.
Mhm.
And I do think that there's going to be a situation where there's going to be some fighting happening soon.
Mm.
Like there's going to be like
Ooh.
some battle type thing, like some
Right.
wildlings are going to attack him, and
Yeah,
then she's
something
like,
exciting.
someone's going to get saved. It might be him. It might be
Right.
um
I was actually just about to ask you if you thought somebody was going to be saved.
yeah, and then I think there's going to be some kind of like bringing it back into the context of the Game of Thrones universe.
Right.
Yeah.
Some tension with the other characters. Maybe Jon Snow is like upset about something. I don't know.
As always.
And
Am I
I'm wondering
right?
if I don't know how far this fic gets into the story, into this
Mhm.
universe, but she'll probably return to King's Landing with the rest of the crew
Mm.
when they go back.
Interesting. Well, so it is 8 chapters.
Yeah.
So far, is it done? Is it like concluded?
I
I don't know.
Is this
I
person
don't
still
think we'll
updating?
know until
Right. That's a good point. Yeah.
well. So it was last. So it was published in January of 2017. It was updated last September of 2017. So
Yeah.
we
So
can
Probably.
it probably isn't finished though, because unless it says
Mm.
completed, it's not necessarily.
Good point.
Yeah.
But it's not being updated regularly, I guess.
No.
Okay, Ted, do you have any predictions?
Well, so far I'm just surprised at how quickly the Hound is becoming just a bit of a hopeless romantic. I thought there's going to be a bit of more of like a hardened shell to be broken through, but I don't know. I like it. I mean, it's like, all right, we're chugging along. I think I do think some action should come up soon. Or I could honestly, my prediction right now is that this stays completely domestic.
I think that
partially because it's romance / family, which doesn't mean there has to be no action.
Yeah.
But I also just that's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mostly agree. I could see it going either way, either action or domestic, but I think there's going to be a sex scene.
There better be.
Oh.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's all I'll say anyway.
I want to hear you read it in your like
in my voice.
Yeah. I want to hear it come straight from the horse's mouth. Gulifaxi's mouth.
Chapter 5. Little wolf, get down from there, Sandor said as he looked up into the tree. Your father is looking for you. Jen sighed and moved down a level of branches. How did you find me then? Apparently I know you better than your own family, he said. Her heart surged, but her face fell. I'm stuck.
I've been up here for 5 days. Oh, they keep forgetting about me. Jen with a G.
Jen with a G. Sandor roared with laughter. Ha ha ha. Jen was the most self-assured person he ever met. There seemed to be nothing she couldn't do except climb down from trees.
I like to think this has happened like a bunch of times. I keep getting stuck in trees.
Jump, he ordered. I'll catch you. Promise? Jen perched on the lowest branch, but it still seemed much higher than she thought. I promise, little wolf. How high could this be? Jen jumped, and as promised, Cinder caught her in her arms, bridal style. Her brow in his arms, bridal style.
How old is she? I mean, old enough to be married once and murder her husband.
She's the same age as Jon Snow.
Oh yeah, they're twins. So how old is he's like 20 something?
He's like old enough to be cool.
But he's old enough to be Kit Harington.
Her breath caught in her throat when she looked at him.
I thought he caught her, not her breath. Sorry, that was stupid. Sorry.
When she looked at him, their faces inches apart. Sandor, suddenly aware of the closeness, set her down before he did something that cost him his head. Your father's inside, little wolf. End of chapter 5.
Jen sliced his head off.
Oh, okay. It's always hard to tell where every chapter begins like me trying to be like, when is this?
Yeah. That, I mean, it's quite
Where?
confusing.
But I mean, I'm
Especially
enjoying
because
it
most
so
of
far.
them don't need to be chapters. I mean,
Yeah.
I
She
hate it.
hated the city the moment she got there.
Oh,
So we might
so I
be in
guess
King's
this is much
Landing.
later. Yeah.
It was loud, crowded, and dirty, and now with the tournament, it was even louder and more unbearable. Just
That's how I
outside
feel.
of the turning grounds, there were tents for every odd knight that had showed up. All the grass was gone.
Only
Like,
the weird ones, though. They
yeah.
weren't none of the normal
This
nights.
is gonna be where she's gonna see his brother, the Hound, or the Mountain.
Oh, good point.
Oh,
Good point. That's definitely what's gonna happen. Yeah.
angry but curious, Genevieve tramped through the mud and watched all the squires running around like a chicken before it knows it's dead. Really? Like,
Yeah. Dude, if you cut a
like
chicken's head off, it runs around.
no. Well, I'm like, but are the knights really running around like
Oh yeah. Oh, I
that?
guess they're
Like,
not
is
running
that
around like
really
that.
like?
Yeah.
What's the
Well,
rush?
probably their squires are, if I had to guess.
Like,
Not the knights
oh,
themselves. Oh, I need to clean my knight's armor. I
and they're
need
like
to.
slipping in the mud and like
Yeah.
falling
Various
and like
slapstick
playing.
going. Yeah.
She spotted Sandor without Joff for the first time since they arrived in King's Landing and hurried to capitalize on the opportunity. Are you competing? She asked. Not a knight, he reminded her. I didn't know you had to be, she admitted, unembarrassed. Nice.
Yeah, I'm glad she owns it.
Yeah, you should never be ashamed to not know something.
I agree.
You've never been to a tourney? Sandor found it hard to believe. Tournaments were used to Tournaments were used to celebrate any and everything, including nobility's name days. Oh God, Lord,
Just
Lord,
keeps coming at you.
Lord Stark doesn't believe in them. Sandor laughed. Eddard Stark was the strangest man. His laugh was full and loud, and several people turned to look at them. Like the Hound is like laughing so much in this.
Yeah. Well, he's a jovial kind of guy.
It's
Like,
yeah,
you know,
I
it's
see it
getting
as
burned at birth really makes you, you know,
it gives you perspective.
yeah. Sorry,
I
Abby, what were you gonna say?
think it's like the kind of thing where it's like this is what the author wanted to see out of the character.
Right. Which
Um,
is, I mean, fanfic is the best
Yeah.
platform to express that.
yeah,
You
exactly.
could say cryptic X metaphor is fixing the character of the Hound.
Honestly, yeah.
Seems much more likable. What's wrong with that?
Yeah. I mean, he seems much more, at least positive. You know,
Yeah, makes me
that's
feel
good.
better.
Yeah, it makes me feel better. Thank you, Cryptic X metaphor.
What are you laughing about, Hound? A man about a foot shorter than Sandor came up and clapped the Hound on the shoulder. The newcomer was ruggedly handsome, tan with blue eyes, shoulder-length hair, and stubble on his chin. Why in
Definitely.
the seven hells are you here, Henrik? Sandor
Oh
asked.
wow, Abby, you called it. That's impressive. I had no idea who it was gonna be.
I said it
Wait,
was. I thought it was Jamie Lannister.
Oh, I thought you said it was. Okay, I just can't hear
I have
you.
no
Okay,
idea
my
who Henrik
bad.
is.
yeah, I
I don't
think
know who
this
that is
is
either.
an
That's why I was so
OG.
like surprised that you were able to guess. Okay, sorry.
This is
Yeah, keep going.
Henrik.
Henrik.
Henrik. It's
It's
Henrik
like
with a K.
it's like a man a foot shorter than the Hound came up to him, slapped him on the shoulder. How are you doing, Peter Nadell? Just like one of us is in it.
Uh, Henrik smiled, eyes glinting. Now is now is that anyway? So anyway is one word. Now is that anyway to greet your only friend? Now it was Jen's turn to laugh. I didn't realize he had any friends at all. Nice, real nice. Sir Henrik Umber at your service. He bowed and kissed the top of her hand. And you are? Genevieve Snow. Sandor pushed her away out of Henrik's reach. You should go find your seat. I'm sure your family is looking for you.
Oh, damn.
Henrik
He's already
let
so protective.
Genevieve walk away, amused that the hound would protect her. The game is on.
The Game of Thrones.
Yes. There is no game. Every woman wants you, Sandor pointed out. But he would never let Henrik take Jen from him. It was
But
true
she's a
somehow.
bastard. No, isn't that the whole point? Is that nobody wants her?
No, he said, because he said the game is on, and then he says there's no game.
Oh,
Every
I thought that was
woman
like the
wants
narrator.
you.
Okay, I understand.
No, yeah, it is confusing.
He means the games, like the actual game,
Well,
not like
I
a
think
metaphor
I think Henrik is talking about the game of like getting
of love.
of possessing Genevieve.
Right. Yeah, okay.
And
I think I
then
understand.
what the hound is saying is because he's
I got a
so
little confused.
handsome and every woman wants him, there is no game.
Oh,
But he would
okay.
never let Henrik
He would
take
never
Jen
have
from
him.
him.
Right.
It
That
was
makes sense.
true somehow that they ended up friends despite Sandor never wanting one. And it was his luck that the one man he befriended was a notorious womanizer. But at least Henrik was honest about it, and all the women he slept with consented. Oh, that's
That's
good.
great.
I
That's a great
it's like I heard
inclusion.
from Henrik that they all consented.
Henrik told me.
Yeah. Jen found herself smiling as she took a seat next to Arya, sandwiching the youngest sister between herself and Sansa. Sandor had been jealous of Henrik's flirtation. End of chapter 6.
So where are they in the is she in between Arya and the Hound, or is the Hound just like somewhere else now?
I have
Like, is
no.
she sitting with
That's the
him?
thing. I just have no mental picture
Yeah,
of
yeah.
what's going on.
Well, I guess you're supposed to read the books, and then like that's supposed to provide you with
Yeah, if
the
you read
mental
the books, you
image.
know what's going on. If you
Yeah.
The second day of the tournament, so this is chapter 7, was the final day of jousting. The tournament started with a brutal murder by the Mountain. Oh, there
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
See, yeah, Abby, you're on it. Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
it's there. And it was looking to end the same way. Genevieve wasn't sure if she wanted to watch or shut her eyes. She compromised and almost missed what? And almost missed the Knight of Flowers unseat Gregor Clegane. She cast a glance at Sandor, knowing that the brothers hated each other. She noticed that he was trying not to smile, which in turn made
Oh,
her smile. Wow.
there's so much smiling going on.
There's so much like
It's very sweet. Yeah,
Yeah, like
Sandor leapt forward onto the pitch and drew his sword. Shocked, Genevieve turned to face forward just in time to see Sandor raise his sword to Gregor's and save Loris's life. What?
this was an episode like they're essentially describing something that happens in the show.
okay.
They fought for a minute.
Like it's like the Mountain like tries to kill the Knight of Flowers, who I'm pretty sure his name is Loris, and
That checks out.
he tries to like murder him after he loses, and then the Hound like gets up and like fights him off. It's crazy.
Fights his brother off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would do the same against my brother.
Yeah, you gotta fight him off.
Yeah. If he's trying to kill the Knight of Flowers.
Yeah, definitely.
They fought for a minute before the king intervened. Enough, he roared. By order of your king, end this foolishness at once.
Yes, this is straight out of the show.
Genevieve watched in horror as Gregor swung, narrowly missing Sandor's head, and only because Sandor knelt for King Robert as a proper knight would. Oh. This author has
isn't
such a
he not
weird
a
way of
knight?
describing action.
But
So
he's
what
not
they're
a knight.
describing is that the Hound knelt, but as he did, the Mountain like swung at, which I guess that's kind of cool.
I mean, it
jumped-
must have happened in the show. I mean,
Yeah, it did happen in the show. This is exactly. This is just like.
Oh, really? I don't remember this at all.
yeah, I don't remember. I know I watched it. Like it was. This is pretty early on in the show, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
this
I
is
must have seen it.
I will tell you, I've seen this a bunch of times.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, was there a character kind of in the background who you could tell her name was Jen with a G?
Genevieve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I recall, but I'd believe it. You know, like.
Yeah, right. She's
Maybe
just
if
an
you watch it
extra in
again, she'll
every.
be there.
yeah.
Now.
She's just there, kind of smirking at herself, just like.
She jumped up from her seat and ran so she didn't see Sir Loris declare Sandor the champion and raise his hand. She didn't see Sandor blush or realize the crowd was cheering for him. Sandor didn't notice the crowd cheering either. He only watched Genevieve run from the crowd.
Oh, that's cute.
He pulled his hand free and went after her. Genevieve, he barked, hoping she would stop. Genevieve! She turned, waiting for him to catch up with. She turned, waiting for him to catch up to her, and then slapped him. Oh, Sandor was taken aback. Most men were afraid to raise a hand to him, let alone a woman. Nor did he understand what he had done wrong.
Women, am I right? Come on, fellas, you get it.
You ass, you nearly died, she shouted at him. He was an inch off from killing you. But he didn't, Sandor pointed out, like wags his finger. But what if he had? Did you think about that? Did you think about me? Genevieve didn't wait to hear his answer, and Sandor didn't chase after her. She was right. He hadn't thought about her. He promised himself he would never make that mistake again. End of chapter 7.
I never understand that. This is something that like comes up even in like other things that aren't fanfic. But like
Yeah.
why is that ever something that happens in a story where somebody's like fighting somebody and then somebody gets mad at them because they're like, but you didn't think that you might die. And it's like isn't that like it's way worse for me if or like way worse for him if he dies. Like, you know what it's not like he was probably thinking it would like he was probably mad or scared that he was gonna die, let alone if like she cared, whatever. I don't
think
know.
When that happens, it's worry manifesting itself
Yeah.
as anger.
Right.
And stress manifesting itself.
Because she just cares for him so much. She's like, I can't
Yeah, she just
bear to live without you.
He who else is gonna catch me when I climb up a tree that I'm stuck in? My family doesn't know where I am when I climb up trees. Only the hound knows. I'm his little wolf. All right, take us home, Ten.
Yeah, so this is final chapter, chapter 8. It's probably the shortest chapter.
Really? They've been pretty short. So
thought I'd find you here. Sandor had made sure Joff was safe in the. So when they say Joff in the fic, they're not spelling it with the E. They're just doing Joff. Is that how it's spelled in the? Or isn't it like Joff? Or is it? How do you? I'm looking this up.
His name is Joffrey.
Yeah, not Jeffrey.
Well, I know, but I'm wondering how.
So she's shortening.
Oh, no, it's sorry everybody. That I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to Joff. Joff was safe in the castle before leaving.
It is pretty weird though. I mean, it is kind of off-putting.
Yeah, because like any kind of tone of familiarity with Joffrey makes me not like a person.
Right. Good point.
My pal Joff. You still mad
I was just
at me,
hanging out with Joff
wolf?
the other day.
No, Genevieve sighed and continued grooming her horse. Will you tell me who hurt you? I heard it was your brother. We're not talking about this, he growled. I told you what happened to me, Genevieve protested. Am I not interested?
I admitted to first-degree murder.
Kids. And I am not interested in talking about what a nice day it is. He sighed. She had him cornered.
Damn, I was about to tell you that it was such a nice day. A nice day in King's Landing.
She had him
Wonderful
cornered.
weather we've been having, huh? Jen with a G.
My baby Joe with a G. He knew it would be a bad idea to get attached. It was my brother. I was little and he had this toy, a wooden soldier, he explained. I just wanted to play with it. He knocked me over and pressed my face into the fire. Later, when people began asking what had happened to me, our father said it was an accident, that my bedding had caught fire. Genevieve reached up to hold his face with the intention of kissing him.
Oh.
Initially, he flinched back, but then let her gently touch his scar. I'd kill him for you, she said. Before that moment, Cinder never understood why peasants married. Yeah. Nobles did it for power, money, and land, but he never understood what anyone else had to gain from the arrangement. Now, he thought Genevieve, was reason enough. The end. It doesn't say the
Touching.
end, but
So that
Touching.
M at all.
Yeah, that wasn't. I was about to say, yeah, that's not. There was nothing in there that was mature. In fact, I'd call it immature. It should be rated I for immature.
Yeah.
wow.
But ultimately, I don't know. I liked it. It was
Yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah. So there are
There's actually two guests on this podcast. Abby and Abby's cat Cleo.
yeah, we can see Cleo right now.
Yeah.
Cleo is.
What did Cleo think about the fan fiction?
I think Cleo didn't really care.
That's fair.
But I think she
I
liked
didn't really care.
being read aloud to. She liked that.
Yeah, I thought it was. I liked how like tidily like this narrative like fit into the narrative of the show. Like I like that it like this could have happened while that other stuff consumed.
I agree. I would say it would be funny and interesting. But I've seen it enough. But for you guys just to see how much they took from the show, like, which is fine. That's the point of fanfiction. But for you to watch it and then, like, pretend that Genevieve is there, I think.
Yeah, I think if you squint hard enough, you see somebody in the back is wearing a sign that says her name is Jen with a G. I feel like that's such a weird inclusion.
And she's right in between Sansa and Arya.
Yeah, she's right between them.
So there are 13 reviews. They're all pretty short. I'm gonna read them in order from when it was first published to, so like the comments as the fic is progressing. Magnus374 says good.
Thanks, Mag.
Magnus374 2 weeks later says there's a bit of connection between them.
I like to think he's not talking about the characters, he's talking about like the different chapters. Like he thinks that they're like all different. It's like, oh, I'm just noticing that they're a little bit connected.
This is interesting. Never seen anything like this. Sandra D 27. I like, but I feel the chapter should be longer. Perhaps bulking them up, but otherwise not bad. Smiley face. Keep it up.
I agree, Sandra. Good point.
Magnus374 says
he's back.
It's sad they never made him fight in the tourney on the show since he did in the books. Oh.
Damn.
It's a good bit of insight. Lori
Searing
says
critique from Magnus.
Takes no prisoners.
Yeah, takes no prisoners. Put that in your book, George.
Lori says great story. Thanks, Lori.
Lori with the great story. You love to see it.
Myra or Mira 91 says love the story so far, but why did you publish the same chapter twice? Well, it seems like that's been fixed.
Thank you for your constructive criticism, Mira or Myra.
Sand Magnus 374 says this is like in April now. Sandor is really starting to care, it seems. Oh, they really like it.
I can't imagine reading this as it's coming out because it's like the chapters are at most like 100 words, right? Like they're not long.
Yeah. And this is like chapter 7 was like, judging by this, was like published in like April, and then chapter 8 was published in September.
Yeah.
He had shit to do. Come on.
You know,
Chronic. What
yeah,
was his name? Chronic X metaphor. What was
metaphor,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Charlene
He had some
Clark
stuff.
says, "Great story, XX. More, please. It's too good," said Pecan Nut Espresso.
Yeah, nut espresso.
Made it to a Yautja, said, "Please continue." Gillyflower says, "This is good though. I wish them longer." Also, I'm kind of curious on her being once married and such, would love to hear the story behind it. Look forward to the next update.
Wait, we do know the story behind it.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know like
Well,
who
maybe
the
just want to know more.
was.
Yeah, I guess
Like
you're right.
what really happened?
Just delve into the pathos. Jen with the G's pathos.
Regency Junkie says, "Oh, I really hope you carry on with this story. I'm not a Sansa fan, so to have an OC is wonderful."
Yeah, because
Oh,
there's a lot of fan fictions out there that ship the
Oh,
Hound and
really?
Sansa.
Wait, do they
interesting.
have a name? Is it
They're called
Sound?
Sandman.
Oh, nice. I like that. That's a good
Sansan?
one.
Yeah,
Because
which is so
he's
stupid.
Sandor. So
Yeah,
it's San.
And
it's
so
probably the stupidest name.
I
the
like that.
most recent review was September 1st, 2018, a year after the most recent chapter had been published. And Hello the Kitty says, "Please continue this story. I love it so much. The Hound deserves a good ship. I love it so far."
Damn, she's also doesn't like San, I guess.
But she
Hello the
loves
kitty.
this fic.
She loves this. I was like, she's like pleading with Chronic X metaphor, like, please, please come back.
It's like a
He
drug.
needs a good fic.
The Hound deserves a good fic, and you're the author to do it. What do you say,
Chronic X metaphor.
Cryptic X metaphor?
Cryptic X metaphor, not chronic.
I'm assembling a team.
I'm assembling a team. Cryptic X metaphor.
Oh god, it's so funny.
But yeah, I think that this fic really spoke for itself.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Abby, for bringing it
Yes, thank you,
to
Abby.
our attention.
You're
Yeah.
always welcome on our podcast.
Yeah, it was great.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you for listening, guys.
thank you for listening, everybody.
Yeah.
Goodbye.